MMPR Season 3 was the first time where I started getting tired of the series. It just didn't want to change too much. It kept the MMPR suits for a third year in a row. The Alien Ranger arc didn't really work with the time travel idea. There was a lot of things that could have made it a better transition to Zeo. I know a lot of people don't agree with this opinion, but not all of it was bad. There are things that I still liked.
Ninja Zords.
The Thunder Zords were fine, but I never really got warmed up to them. It always felt like they threw away the old Zords with no final payoff to them. For me, changing Zords should be a big deal, which is why I love the way Season 3 opened. The Ninja Zords themselves were a better design. Everything felt more interconnected. We had both Megazords that could share the Falcon Zord. Titanus was brought back from being forgotten to create a new Ultra Zord formation. I hated that Tor was basically never used in the show. And since MMPR was using more ninja elements, the meshing felt good. The Battleborgs were an interesting concept that made the Alien Rangers different, kept them more safe. Overall, a better improvement over how season transitions did towards the equipment side.
Ninjor.
He could be annoying with that voice, but I still like Ninjor. It showed that Zordon needed more help in creating the power coins than he let on. Backstory is a continuity mistake from earlier Season 1 episodes, but it's not really a big deal compared to other things that the series has done later on. He's also not your typical mentor role. He's more like Wes wants to get into the action. Ninjor was handled better than, say, Blue Centurion. He was an important side character. His samurai mode was nice. It gave all kinds of extra abilities that the show didn't do before. Master Vile captured him to create this horrific monster that almost killed the Rangers. MMPR always got the weird voices down. Tony Oliver plays Saba as a prim and proper speaking mentor where his voice has to flow like water. Then you have Ninjor, who basically is mimicking Dudley Do-Right, something that shouldn't work, especially when he was captured, but somehow it does. Where there are times that voices can be completely wrong for the part. Ripcon is a recent example.
Shark Cycles.
The show finally got the Rangers on bikes. I always thought it was really dumb that they didn't use the bikes from Sentai. I understand why it happened in Season 1. There was no footage of it that they could have been used, but when the show became popular, I think they should have shot new material with the battle bikes at the end of Season 1. Then came Season 2 with toys of the Thunder bikes, which Sentai fans know they're based off the Ranger bikes, but then they were never in the show. Because of this, I never wanted them anymore. Season 3 finally rectified that for the most part. I thought their use in Follow the Cab was interesting. The cycles themselves compared to today, they aren't that detailed, but each of them had cool looks. I just wish they had used them more. I would have liked a line of legacy bikes myself.
Lieutenant Stone.
In Season 1, Bulk and Skull were your typical bullies. They preyed on everyone. Season 2, their purpose was to find out who the Power Rangers were. Now, what do you do with them in Season 3? Making them become police officers was a great idea. Their comedy was getting stale. There's only so many times I'll find Bulk falling into food funny before it gets stupid. It also showed that some people can't finish high school. At the same time, it showed Bulk and Skull cared about their future, wanting to go beyond their stupid past. Lieutenant Stone also opened up more comedy to the show that didn't devolve the Rangers themselves. I never have a problem with Power Rangers having a comedic side. It just needs to have a purpose, actual jokes that are decent, and if a dramatic moment happens that affects the comedic characters, don't just have something explode on them. They have to work within the episode. Lieutenant Stone basically gave a second life to Bulk and Skull. He forced them to grow up. They wouldn't have helped out in King for a Day or helped in Countdown to Destruction. Not to mention was able to keep the whole monkey story alive without going off into full schlock territory. More Lieutenant Stones, less Ernie 2.0s.
Ninja Powers.
I was happy that we got a lot of the elements from the MMPR movie. I still hate that they couldn't use the movie suits. The Ninja Powers gave a break from the old MMPR suits. I love those suits like everyone else, but 150 episodes with them is too much. It also made sense towards the story. The Ninja Powers act as a bridging connection between the old powers and the new powers. Basically, they had to learn to use the new coins and train their bodies to handle technically two powers on top of each other. It was nice to see the Rangers having to struggle with new abilities. It kind of got boring when they got new Zords every 10 episodes, new weapons, new this, new that, then being super easy to handle and control. That's another thing that lacked from switching to the Thunder Zords. Master of everything with no flaws.
Rita's family.
Season 3 opened Rita up with her father, Master Vile, and her dumb brother, Rito. This answered things about Rita's personality. We saw whenever Rita lost big from the Rangers, she whined like a little kid, hitting things or people in the palace. Master Vile holds her up to very high standards. At the same time, when she fails, he doesn't hold back. Pretty much insults her and points out every failure she and Zed did on Earth. I didn't see Rita raised all too well. Rita explains why Rita would pick bumbling idiots like Squat and Pabu. Rita has to fill that missing space of moron. Rito is a moron, but a moron in a good way. He can fight, work with good plans, and be terrifying. Way more tolerable than Elgar. That type of stupidity went in the wrong direction. You can also see that Rita probably saw Rito as the favorite child, so she went off on her own to accomplish something, just to show her father that she's better than Rito. Similar idea in Lord of the Rings with Denethor II, Faramir, and Boromir. I miss this type of world building. It's simple, me as the audience fills in all these ideas and gaps trying to explain everything, and it's fun. With seasons being only 1 year or split up into 2 sections, a lot of the flair the show had is lost. I think that's why we give MMPR passes in areas that people complain about more so in standalone seasons, not just because of nostalgia.
Command Center lost.
The Command Center has been this safety zone for 3 years. It's Zordon's haven from his time warp and Alpha's home. When it was blown up at the end, it was a great moment. It's weird saying that, but it showed that the series really meant it was time to let MMPR go. It was a great way to get rid of the old set without disrespecting it. It even showed the huge lengths that Zordon and Alpha would go to protect the Rangers. Zordon picked these people, thrown into a situation day in and day out, risking their lives. He has to be responsible for them. At the same time, he's always prepared for the next major step. The way it was blown up by a crummy bomb with Rita and Golder was a bad plot, but the effect it had on the series was something you can give a pass on those issues. It also means that the place isn't invincible. As long as the bad guys find it, it could be taken down.
Alien Rangers.
I like the Alien Rangers, but I don't like the Alien Ranger arc. It's confusing. The idea of there being Power Rangers on another planet was nice. There's gotta be other planets that this happens. Aliens invade other planets. Earth isn't the center of the universe. Zordon has to know more people. There's human-like species out there. I honestly wish they did this at the start of the season. I didn't object to having the Rangers vanish for some time, just the way it was done. That's a pretty bold move. Remember when Optimus Prime did that? G1 Transformers didn't really recover. You're working with a whole new cast. Them being aquatic was different. The White Ranger was the leader. It made the Cucker Ranger footage work better. If all 5 characters were fleshed out more and that the season 3 had a better split with the main cast and the guest cast, the Alien Rangers I think would be more respected. I really felt sorry for Orko, Titus, and Corcus being completely ignored. That's unacceptable and the worst of any character that's been on the series up to now.
Kim's departure.
We've had many people leave the show. Zach, Trini, Jason, Aisha, Billy, Tommy, Kat, Tanya, Adam, and Kendricks. Pierre always seems to screw this up all the time. Production reasons, personal reasons, medical reasons. But it's always sucked. In Kendrick's case, it was the reverse. However, Kim was the bright light at the end of the tunnel. Everyone gets tired of a TV show. I never have an issue when an actor leaves a series when it's handled right. Not only did we get a new Pink Ranger, we got an evil story. Kat is a flawed person. She screwed up in life and Rita exploited that. Kim decided to end her Ranger duties for getting a chance at something big in her regular life, and even used Zordon's father figure role well. He picked these people to protect the planet. They aren't slaves. Zordon doesn't want their lives to go down the drain. He wants them to be happy. It gave that bonding moment between Kim and Kat, which is the worst thing lost from everyone leaving badly. Picture Zach, Trini, and Jason all interacting with Rocky, Adam, and Aisha. It would have been a fun last hurrah. There could have been all sorts of interesting character episodes done in the second half of season 2, like the episode of Rocky being depressed on not living up to Jason and Zeo. That would have been in season 2. Giving some time for the characters to interact and say their farewells are the most important parts. Imagine if Kim was done the same way as the trio. Fake voice, in suit only, there'd be no final moment with Tommy. Everything would have just went out the window. Respect your characters, respect your actors, and give them a good send-off. Or in Kendrick's case, stay dead.
Thunder Zords destroyed.
As like the command center being blown up to symbolize moving on, the loss of the Thunder Zords at the start of the season was an enjoyable spectacle. These giant vehicles helped the Rangers for the past year. They gave new life to Tommy as the White Ranger and showed that different animals would work great as Zords. The one major thing I hated was how the Dino Zords were handled for their last uses in the mutiny. They acted like clunky, dumb robots. They kept getting frozen in place, turned evil, or just did stupid nonsense. This is not what I want from a final battle. Dragazord has to limp away and go back to sleep. Titanus was nowhere to be found. Then poof, they just morph into the new Zords. It's the worst way they could have handled their final moments. The Thunder Megazord and the Tiger Zord go down fighting with new monsters. The villains amp up their game with Rita Revolto coming in. The Megazords and Rangers tried everything they could do but still failed. This is a heavy price. Not only do the Rangers lose access to their original powers, they lost family. I always see the Zords as you would Alpha 5. They are mechanical with a soul. Kim grieving over the Thunder Zords makes me that much more worried on how they're going to stop the bad guys. Later seasons, just self-destructing Zords with no care just makes them feel more invincible with no repercussions. MMPR Season 3, just like Jungle Fury, are in the low point of my worst season list. They border on that edge. If it weren't for a perfect storm of compounding issues on top of series fatigue and that horrible time travel plot, it wouldn't be a part of that list. But I will commend the third season acting as a bridging point to the bigger universe that started with Zeo. Do you agree with me that Season 3 is an unfortunate problem with MMPR, or did you love all 3 seasons equally? I'd like to hear your reasons why. And if you have an idea or suggestion on a future topic you'd like me to cover, leave a comment down below. Next week will be the start of the Neo Saban era, beginning with Dino Supercharge.